What's up, Canuck fans? Welcome to the line change. We're doing a open discussion about what the center options for are with Filipino now being revealed to be out and on the IR, and it's looking like he'll be potentially out week to week. I'm going to be joined momentarily by my good buddy Gerald. We're going to have a little open discussion about this, go over a article from Canucks Army, and we're just gonna talk about what these center options are for the Vancouver Canucks. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy. After watching that baseball game earlier, as you can tell by my attire, my voice is a little raspy after that one heck of a baseball game. That who knows, maybe Gerald and I might touch upon a little bit later. But while I wait for Gerald to hop on, we are going to be going over this this article in particular from Canucks Army. Basically, it's asking the question, what are the Canucks' options to withstand the loss of Filipino at center? We're going to go over some options that is listed on here. Gerald and I might give our own options as well on top of that. And also, we're going to be talking about, obviously, the roster moves that were made earlier today by the Vancouver Canucks with the call-up of Joseph Labate, Tom Wielander, as well as Neil Zaman, them being called up, and then, of course, Victor Mancini being sent down. We're going to be talking about that as well. And this is just a open discussion that we're going to have when it comes to the Canucks' center depth and their center options, as it's obviously a intriguing topic as the Canucks play tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And obviously, Canuck fans are curious and wanting the Canucks to continue their winning ways on the road. And obviously, a big wrench was thrown into those plans with the injuries to Chytil and Lekaramäki, as well as Bluger. It's looking like Bluger will be out for tomorrow. So it's looking like, and that is likely the reason why Neil Zaman was called up by the Vancouver Canucks. So, as I said, as we just wait for Jill to come in and pop in, we're going to discuss it, break it down, and just have a general, real good conversation about this. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading a little bit of this article, just some points of it. Not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to point out some of these lines right here, as you can see right here. So from the look of things, this could be a potential situation playing out for the game tomorrow against Pittsburgh. You would see DeBrusk, Pettersson, and Garland as your top line, Kane, Ratu, and Besser, if Besser ends up playing, on your second line. And then you could have O'Connor, Bluger, Sherwood as your third line, and then Baines, Sasson, Carlson as your fourth line. Now, this article obviously was made before the Neil Zaman call-up was made, so they did not include that in this. But you could always do some shuffling. Maybe Amon ends up being the in the press box. Same thing with Labate. But this is most likely the lineup you're going to see for the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow. So there's that. Obviously, we know one option that is not going to happen, which is Braden Coots. As unfortunately, as I mentioned in my videos earlier today, Braden Coots is not able to be called back up to the NHL after having been sent back down to the WHL. So he's likely done for the season with the big club, permitting the Canucks have a preposterous injury situation where they have nobody left, and they ask the NHL that they need somebody up for an emergency. Then that would likely be the only way that they would have a chance of bringing Coots back up to the NHL. But the Canucks have a lot of bodies down in Abbotsford, and that may not happen for some time or even really happen at all. So, that being said, let's continue down on here. obviously Mancini was sent down, so unfortunately, he has to play it in Abbotsford. Oh, Gerald's with us, so I'm gonna quickly bring him in. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, Ty?
Not bad. I was just
Sorry I'm a little
going
late.
through. Oh, good man. Just going through a potential lineup for the Canucks tomorrow from this article, which has DeBrusque, Pedersen, Garland as the first line, Kane, Ratu, Besser as your second line, O'Connor, Bluger, and Sherwood third line, and then Baines, Sasson, Carlson as the fourth line. I was telling everybody that this was before Neil Zaman was called up when this article came out. So obviously they don't include Amon or Lebate for that matter. So maybe they might change a few things for this, but this was the lineup that they were figured would be tomorrow's lineup after the initial call ups and the initial Chytil and Lekaramaki being put on the IR.
Yeah, I think in this article there's actually two lineups that they are suggesting, either with an extra D man or not. Um, as much as it explains, to have that extra fresh, defenseman there. I think it's probably better to have a full lineup as opposed to the extra D man instead of 11 forwards, because the team itself is already tired from this long road trip. What is it? 66 hours, 3 games. Um, yeah, it would help out to have an extra line just to be safe. And with the addition of Oman, Labate, um, I think at least that there's an extra line right there, right? But the only question with the lineup that they suggested over here is, Labate plays, he's a left. So for handiness, like to play on the right wing might not be best.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, because since O'Connor played right wing last game, I think that could be an option. But I'm just gonna double check right now on his handiness.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think?
I'm kind of agreeing with what they have here on this article. Obviously, I haven't really taken into account Amon or Lebate. Um,
Yeah.
but I guess it also depends on whether or not Besser ends up playing tomorrow. Um, that's the one real like caveat that's we're still unsure of. As I haven't really said, he's good to go for tomorrow. But I imagine if Besser doesn't play tomorrow, then I would assume Amon or Lebate would factor in if Besser's not in the lineup tomorrow.
No, I think either way, Oman's going to be in there. The only sort of up in the air right now would be Besser, and because that's where the logjam would be. So I think we were just at the Canucks After Dark stream, and Clay was also saying like Besser would slot in for Lekramaki, who was slotting in for Besser. So that would be the best case scenario. And I feel like whatever Besser is going through, this is just personal opinion and how I think is going to happen tomorrow is that Besser does come back and play. He might not be 100% in terms of whatever he's dealing with, but at least we have an extra body there. It's kind of like having defensemen eat up minutes, right? But you need a reliable forward that actually does that. So at least at a discount, given an 80% Besser is better than 100% Lebate, right? Or 100% whoever they end up throwing in.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just looking up the info. So Drew O'Connor actually would be he shoots left. So this also brings up another question in terms of the team depth. We are lacking a lot of right-handed shot or handed shot players. I think ever since, because who's right-handed? Bo Horvat is, right?
Hmm.
Bo's right. I think Pia Suter is also right. Um, anyways, we've just lost a lot of depth at the right hand side. But in terms of defenseman wise, we only had one back in the day before Hronik. It was Myers. Oh, and maybe Juleson. So it's a huge shift, 100 degrees from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. That we had all these right-handed players on the forward side, and we're lacking that on the defense. But now it's opposite. So what needs to happen right now, I would say, is um, given if Besser is back in tomorrow, that changes the whole thing, and all you need to slot in is Oman. And you'll have Ratu at second, Sasson at third, Oman on the fourth line, and then PD centering the first. So that would probably be most ideal, and you don't lose as much, right? Um, but in terms of the lineups that they have on Canucks Army, I would probably throw Kane with PD and Garland and have DeBrus go with Ratu and Sherwood.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, just to sort of even things out, because I mean, Kane and Sherwood both. I mean, they're both protectors. I mean, they play a heavy game. And so to spread those two apart and have one on each line, that spreads it out instead of just having one line um, that scores, and then one line that's like, the tough line, and then you have the kid line, Calder line, Abby line, whatever you're calling it right now, and then the last fourth line that kind of eats up the minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I'm just moving further down on this article. They talk. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but they talk a little bit about the possibility of claiming a center off waivers. Your thoughts on maybe that possibility? I'm not too sure if I'm convinced that there's really anyone that the Canucks should even take a look at, but they mention that as a possibility.
Is this in the Canucks Army article?
Yeah, it's a little further down, uh, just
Uh,
just past that
After the
lineup.
recall,
Yeah,
just
after
past the
that
line.
that lineup around this area.
Excuse me. Okay. That's on. I don't even know if I'm on the same article, but does it say who or anyone in particular?
It just has one name that someone at Canucks Army, Tyson Cole, who's actually at the watch party, uh, recommended Hendrix Lapierre, who ironically plays
They
for the
just
Washington
played for
Capitals.
Washington Capitals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one name that was mentioned. I don't think there's
Yeah,
any
but
other.
he wasn't waived though.
Um, yeah, it doesn't say anything about him being waived, but he could potentially find himself on waivers. That's what I'm assuming that they're mentioning with this. Like he could maybe be low cost, low risk.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they don't mention anyone else by name. Just that one name. I guess maybe it was a suggestion that it might happen. I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't think there's anything on the waivers right now uh that would really move the needle. I think in terms of I mean, if we use Amon right now for the time being, I think that should be suffice. Instead of going out. I mean, if something does pop up, great, but I don't foresee anything like that happening in the next couple of weeks or in the next month, because teams right now are still, they're not even at the 20 game mark, right?
Hmm.
So depending on how stacked those teams are. So I mean, even the stacked teams like uh Panthers, Vegas, they'll still there's injuries. Like even with Ottawa, like the Sens with Brady Kachuk, they have injuries. A lot of teams have injuries already that they need players to fill in. So it's kind of unlikely. I mean, I'm not saying there's no possibility, but if there is, great, pounce on it. But at this point right now, I don't think anyone's really going to make any moves until at least, let's say, the 15 game mark, the 20 game mark. Like it's about Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. So mid November. And from now until then, I think the Canucks should really stay pat, given the circumstances that they have. I mean, Blueger might be back for the Nashville game because he's actually still with the team.
Hmm.
Then that pretty much solves the problem. And if Besser is back, then pretty much the team looks okay. But to have two lines of AHL players playing for your big club right now, that is, yeah, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. But yeah, I completely agree. I don't think the waiver wire is where the Canucks should head, especially with how limited cap space they have. Um, and I think it's like we just said, they should stand pat. They should save whatever cap space they have. I think Parker mentioned they have like 2,500 or something like that, which is not a whole lot. Um, and they should just
No,
save that. Save
but
like.
that's the point, because I mean, with all the moves that happened today, I think even with your videos, the main point, like a lot of people wondering why Mancini was sent down, and when he was playing, he was playing good, like he was noticeable, and um, you know, for a third line yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, like it was absolutely fine. So why was he sent down? It was mainly for a cap reason, and so right now they're trying to get as close to to the cap the cap max at 95.5 million, just so they can have that extra, like, now that Niels Hoglander is on LTIR, that is when the magic happens, because you can use that $3 million, right?
Mhm, yeah.
And with that added on, tacked on for it's a daily accrued cap space. So by the trade deadline, with that there, you have extra cap space to go sign or trade for someone that's more than what you would have been able to do in the off season or at the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I ended up watching some videos like talking about like the salary cap, and I think it was actually even Clay's video, and it really got me understanding. Like, yes, at first, them sending Mancini down, I was like, wait, what? And then I looked into it, read a couple more articles, talking about salary cap and trying to maximize the cap, and I was like, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. But
Yeah.
what didn't really make sense was to bring up Schuld and then send him back down.
I haven't actually done the math, but I think because of uh because like the cap hit on Schultz, I haven't looked at it. Or it was to do with them needing extra forward. Actually, no. So here's the thing. They instead of Schultz, they got Willander.
Hmm.
So because Willander, um, I don't know how, like, because everything has to go in sequence, right? So everything that they did had to be done before they placed Niels Hoglander on LTIR. So once that's done, Niels Holglander is on LTIR. Then it stops secure, like it gives them that extra $3 million, right? So when Schultz was sent back down and Willander came up, because Willander's contract or cap hit is actually a bit higher than Schultz. So they have that opportunity to use Willander because they can't use Mancini because he has to play one extra game in NHL before coming back to the NHL. So with that said, I mean through training camp, there was so junior DPD
Hmm.
and there was Mancini and Willander, these three, right? They ended up sending Willander down first and then Mancini. Or actually, no, Mancini and then Willander. So they actually like these three. So DPD Junior is already on the roster. So it's of the two, Mancini and Willander, that they want to come up to the big club. And with Mancini being locked to AHL to the Abbey Canucks for at least a game, that was their opportunity to bring up Willander, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of the cap space now with the LTIR, this is all from like my assumption right now. So I mean, whoever's watching, don't quote me on this. I will do a bit more research before jumping on these streams, but that is my take on it, on how the reasoning for Schultz going up and down.
Mhm. Yeah, that certainly makes sense. Like I said, yeah, I was like questioned it at first. Like you brought him up, and then you sent him down, and you essentially replaced him with Wielander. It has to do with like maybe whatever their cap hits are. I don't know what Schultz cap hit is off the top of my head, or even like uh, Willander's for that matter. But I
So no.
believe
So in terms of cap hit, I'm pretty sure. Um, for Schultz, it would be Min. So it'd be the 775. Well, Lander, I know for a fact it was higher because of signing bonuses and whatnot. I can find that out right now for you if you like.
sure.
But yeah, I think that is the reason um, for for those ups and downs.
Hmm.
So right now, the projected cap space is 25,573 projected cap space, and then current cap space is 27,430. And let's see here. I mean, if you go to what is it, Puckpedia, you could probably pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, let me just quickly do that.
Yeah, so Joseph LeBate is 775. And then on defense, P.O. Joseph also 775, and also Jimmy Schultz is 775. But whereas Willander, if he was up in the big club, he would be at, let's see here, 950, 950K. So obviously, from their standpoint, if they've already started the LTIR, then you might as well bring whoever's better to come up to the big club, right? Just for an option in case something happens, you have that extra D-man there.
Hmm. Yeah, so they have projected cap space 25,573. Current cap space says 27. But yeah, their deadline cap space 116.
Is that playoff?
The far one is playoff.
Okay,
So
yeah.
this one, yeah. Um, so wait, are they saying they're
So if you scroll, okay,
oh
right
okay.
under that bar, there's the LTIR pool. So that's the amount of money that they can actually use to spend over the cap.
Okay, so yeah, just a little over 3 million.
Yeah. So reason why initially Mancini was brought down was because Mancini is making 870,000. So bringing that down, you have that difference of what is it, like 95,000, something like that. That that can make a difference daily if you accrue it up until the deadline. So that's why the Canucks, they're known for this. I think they were the only team that did this paper up and down kind of nonsense the
Hmm.
last couple of years. I remember Pod Colson was penciled down to Abbey, but he never left. It was like a few times because he was waiver exempt,
Hmm.
and they ended up getting a huge chunk. I think by the trade deadline, I think they got an extra mil or a mil and a half, up to 2 million, which they didn't end up using because they couldn't find the right trade partner, right?
Hmm. Uh, we got 14 people watching us. We got some people in the chat, and it's Harry. Harry's in the chat
What's
saying,
up, Harry?
Hi, Line Change and Gerald. Hey, Harry. Harry, how's it going? Glad that more people have joined. I know it was a bit of an impromptu time just before Canucks After Dark was ending. But that was one heck of a baseball game, and I kind of lost my emotions after that. So it took me a little bit to come back down to earth. Looks like we got Japan 4 in the house. Awesome. Good to see you, Japan 4. Uh,
Yeah, Japan 4. Yeah, they have to maximize the LTIR. Yes, that's true. And Mancini does have to play one AHL game because that's the new rule that set in after I think it was September or October 1st, something like that. But this is a season that they started. And in terms of that extra other change that they made for the AHL, they have one exempt for players under 19 that can be dropped to AHL as opposed to their junior league, like WHL or CHL, whatever they belong to. They can actually assign it. So for us, the Canucks next year, if Coots were not to make the big club again, they have the ability to actually send him to Abbey instead of sending him back to Seattle.
Yeah, that's something Matt and I spoke about briefly when I had him on. He mentioned that, and yeah, obviously, Coots is just under age to play in the AHL, so that's why they had to send him back down to the WHL. But starting next season, he'll be old enough to actually start in Abbey if he does not make the big club out of training camp. So obviously, that would be a big positive for Abbotsford, as they're missing a lot of guys, with a lot of them being up with the big club right now.
I mean, to be very honest, like I think you did a video about the Abbey report. I haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry. But from looking at the lineups, it looks super thin. I mean, who do you have? You have Kravtsov, and then you have Waters,
Yeah, what
and who else?
they did have him on, but now they don't.
What do you mean?
They had Amon on the top line as of like the last game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and now he's been called
Okay.
up.
Yeah, so pretty much you don't have any.
Hmm.
Like they're all AHL or barely AHL. And I
Yeah,
know there's like a couple that were actually on loan from other clubs. I can't remember. I remember reading it somewhere that they actually don't even belong to Abbey Canucks.
Japan 4's got a good comment here. Funny how we were the team who always paperworked our players, and the NHL changes the rule. Would it have changed if other teams did it? Well, I think they did it. A big reason is because of those gosh darn Vegas Golden Knights, as well. I think
No, no,
that's
no,
another
no, no,
reason.
no, no, no. That's a different one. That's a different story. Because the Knights had the LTIR issues, and people
Mm-hmm.
were complaining that they had an advantage because the player it's usually Mark Stone. I think it happened 2 consecutive years. He ended up on LTIR right until the last couple of games of the season, or
Yeah.
just past the end of the season, and he gets activated afterwards, so it doesn't count towards the cap. So they had an extra 10 million in players that they used for the playoffs. The Lightning also did that a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that they had to crack down on. But in terms of papering up and down, I think,
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right.
yeah,
There's different.
I think Canucks were one of the teams that did it the most, but other teams have also done.
On that Mark Stone note. Guess who's on LTIR right now? Mark Stone. And I only say that because I have him in, I think, both of my fantasy leagues. So I'm kind of pissed off about that because I had to go in and do some maneuvering. I think I even picked another Vegas Golden Knight player just because I needed someone to play tonight to take his spot. Can't remember who I went with. May have
Well,
been Dev, actually.
he, he was injured. I thought he was supposed to be playing today
He was,
against Carolina.
yeah, I think I got a late notification saying he was, day to day. And then earlier
Yeah.
today, he was labeled as out. I think they're
Okay.
saying like a wrist issue or something.
Oh, so he's not on LTIR. He's day to day.
I think he's on LTIR now. Last time
No,
he left.
no way. Okay, let me take a look at this.
Or it might be IR.
Because IR is a week. I mean, look,
Okay,
look at
it's
Vegas.
IR.
If you,
It's IR.
yeah, there's no way he would be on LTIR. Yeah, I watched that game that Vegas played Calgary on Saturday, and he was fine. Like he looked good.
Yeah, it says he's week to week.
Yeah, so week to week, and they put him on IR, then that's at least a week
Yeah. So
or 4 games, something along those lines.
yeah, but either way, he's on IR. So that was why I brought it up.
Yeah, because I mean Vegas, they're 8.4, almost 8.5 million over the cap space right now. And their current cap space is 310. So they have, I think it was who was who did they have LTIR? Because they lost Pietrangelo.
Yeah, Petrangelo is on LTIR, so they gained a lot of cap space through him. I mean, he's pretty much done. His career is over. So
Yeah. But this is odd in terms of like the Canucks. On Puckpedia, it's just very odd that it doesn't show Niels Hoaglander's space. This is LTIR pool, so they have 3 million. So I guess they can technically still use 3 million right now.
mm-hmm. Like, are you saying you can't see it on the Puckpedia website? Because I
No,
can
just
see
on
it on the
top,
active. Oh, on top. Okay, okay.
just on the top, the number,
That's
because it should actually say the current cap space should be more than that. It should be the 3 million.
okay.
Should be added. So it might not be updated or up
Yeah,
to date
maybe
yet.
they haven't updated it yet because of those other moves that the Canucks maybe made. So maybe they're just waiting to see if there's any more moves. Not that I think there will be, although Sat Shaw did send out a tweet saying there could be more moves, tomorrow as in Tuesday, but this was before they called up Amon and Wielander.
Yeah. So we'll have to take a look at that. But in terms of let's see here. Tranfor's still here. Wow. Okay, cool. Funny how, okay. Um, yeah. So yeah, in terms of the lineup tomorrow, I mean, for me, I personally think that, um, I don't know. I have a feeling that Besser's gonna be playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Or at least I hope. Obviously we're not privy to what's going on with him, but they did say it was not going to be, very long. Um, they were very vague with that. So like you said, I hope he's back in the lineup tomorrow, and definitely help alleviate some of that, I guess you can say, pressure that's on the Canucks right now for when it comes to their lines, because it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle right now.
Yeah, because without Besser right now, the problem that we just talked about is the lack of right hand shot players. Because right now itself, I mean, with exception like the power play yesterday was kind of weird because you had Garland and Sherwood on there on PP1. And instead of separating the two, like to have two different right wings on two different lines, they had both of them in and then they actually scored the goal. So to actually have right wings on the team would change the face of the whole team dynamic. So, I mean, in terms of waivers, if they're able to pick up some right-handed shot, I don't know, it doesn't matter what kind of right-handed shot player. As long as you get more of them, I think it would help. And in terms of facilitating a trade of some sort to get a right-handed um, player, doesn't matter forward, defensive. Obviously, it's best if it was a forward. Could really change the whole Canucks lineup like dramatically.
Absolutely. Um, I think that's actually a good spot to end. I just noticed we're at almost 40 minutes and Clay's on right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on over to Clay's. Clay's doing an open house tonight. So for anyone watching here who isn't aware of Canuck Clay, he's a good friend of both of ours, has his own channel, Canuck Clay. He's doing an open house tonight, so where you can actually jump on yourself and, talk a little Canucks. I'm going to try and jump on, and I don't know if you heard at the beginning, but my voice is a little raspy from watching the baseball game earlier. I can't be too loud now because my wife is sleeping in the other room. Yeah, I got mine on. I just have it on backwards. So yeah, I can't be too loud because my wife is sleeping in the room next door and she's very under the weather. So don't want to wake her up. But yeah, this has been great. Went a little longer than I had planned, but I thought this was a great topic. Discussing the options for this jigsaw puzzle that the Canucks have found themselves in. Let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Actually, Japan Far just had a really good point that we didn't really bring up real quick, but could this potentially lead to maybe a trade before the end of the month? I guess we have to wait and see how long for sure Chytil and Lekamaki are out. It's like, I think what you even mentioned this, Gerald, is you don't want to rush into a trade and then overpay or, make the wrong trade. Even though I know Patrick Oveen said today he's looking at options. But at the same time, you don't have a whole lot of cap space and you don't want to maybe risk it. I did say maybe by December, maybe the earliest is we could see a potential, like the gears start moving on a potential trade. I mentioned that to Matt when I had him on, and he said that's probably the earliest we might see it. But maybe more into January is when we would see maybe a trade.
I mean, typically the Canucks have made moves just before the end of January. I mean, that's when the Bo Horvat deal happened. That's when JT Miller was traded. Um, but I don't know. I have a feeling that depending on the center depth, on Teddy Bluger, on Chytil, um, I could probably see a trade happening by the end of November. It's just a feeling that
Yeah,
something like that could happen. Especially if Hito's going to be out long term. Like that hit, it was more towards the body than the head. But these injuries, the way he was hit, it was pretty much like shell shock. Like he just it will get to his head, right? So if that one, he's gonna have nightmares, to be honest, after that hit. And even if he's cleared for it, I think he's gonna have PTSD for that.
oh yeah,
So there is a chance that they will be looking, but they'll obviously put themselves in a position where they're like, yeah, we're doing fine. We don't really need it. But if you're offering, then we'll take it. Because you don't want to be with trade partners that see you at a weakness right now. Like you're needing this. Okay, we're gonna fleece you.
yeah,
And if you put yourself in that position, it's not gonna work out. We're gonna lose assets. Abby already looks super thin. We don't have our third this year, and I think we only have our first, second, fourth, and fifth. We don't even have a sixth or seventh. So yeah, we need to recoup some assets when Hogs comes back and fill the cupboards, and also somehow magically find more right-handed shot players. That's my take for now until after Thanksgiving.
yeah, for sure. All right, well, that was a great discussion. Hopefully, we'll have more of these. Are you going to be good for a post game tomorrow?
I actually can't tomorrow. I have
Okay.
I have basketball, so not tomorrow's game, but
Okay.
Thursday after Nashville we can hop on and do another, and I'll
Yeah,
try
sure.
to make some notes for that, and hopefully everyone who's watching, you know, likes this kind of
Mhm.
dynamics. Me and Tyler doing this, kind of working off of each other. I mean, if you like it, if you don't like it, leave some comments down below. Let us know. At least we know what to change, or me not coming back anymore. But thanks for having me
I don't know
again,
about
Tyler. I
that.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
our last one got over 100 views, so
that's great.
it's doing something,
That
right?
sounds
Yeah.
at least it's moving the needle a little bit. So,
Yeah.
actually, I just wanted to show you something. This is my Jays hat, and this is actually, if you can see it, two-time World
Oh
Series champions. Hopefully, that becomes three.
yeah.
And I
Hmm.
actually had it customized
Oh, nice.
with my initials. But yeah, Jays won today. It was such a, man. It got me, like, just before Springer hit that home run. I was just like, man, I hope they're not like the Leafs. This is game 7. Uh, but Springer got it done, and World Series, and now it's a different game, and I think Bo is good to go. Um, so hopefully they have a full lineup, and the Jays do well on Friday when the series starts in Toronto. Um, and we'll probably see you on Thursday before that. But
Yeah.
thanks for having me on again, Tyler. And I guess we'll see each other on Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll be going solo, which is fine tomorrow. And then we'll have Gerald back on Thursday, and then we'll see going forward after that. Thanks for coming on, Gerald. Appreciate it. Clay away. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate if you guys like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe to see more content from Gerald and Tyler. I'm sure we'll come up with a cool nickname down the line. But yeah, no, if you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.